2 years, 50 episodes. Thank you so much for being one of our longtime listeners. If you want to take a more active role in supporting the show, you can always, of course, write in. We love to get fan mail from you. We love to answer your questions. Or you can head over to our Patreon, patreon.com/shadesansketch. You can support the show for as little as $1, and we're giving you all kinds of goodies, exclusive content, exclusive episodes, episode art. It's all there for you. On to this week's episode.
Oh, hello. I'm Sketch.
I'm Shades.
And this is Geeking Out with Shades and Sketch. Welcome back, longtime listeners.
Great to be here
again.
It's
great to have you guys with us once again as we bring our GoCo across the Geeking Out multiverse. Shades, it's a late night.
It is.
It is the wee hours of the morning.
I feel like we're in the Nighthawks painting.
Yeah, it is very Nighthawks painting
in
here. But guys, we are not.
We are not in the Nighthawks.
This is not the Edward Hopper episode.
It is not.
Where are we?
We are at the Hi Hat Cafe, Sketch, enjoying some wonderful late night brews.
Yep, in the bustling Rhyme City downtown district.
I got to feed my caffeine fix.
Yeah, and I think we're going to be up all night.
All night. This is a tough case.
Yeah, we're really working this case, piecing the clues together. And I guess if we're cracking the case
in a late night cafe
in Rhyme City, that must mean we are talking about
Detective Pikachu.
And kind of like all things Pokemon as well. Our debut Pokemon episode.
Yeah, it's
a long time coming.
Long time coming.
Yeah.
I know you're a huge Pokemon fan.
I'm big into the Pokies.
Yeah. Sketch, if we're talking Detective Pikachu and Pokemon, do we have a theme song?
Oh, we have many a theme song.
Oh my goodness.
I wanna be the very best, like no one ever was. Down, 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 down. To catch them is my real test. To train them is my ghost. Pokemon, gotta get them all.
Wow.
Could do more, but
perfect.
I think that's enough.
Longtime listeners, there was a whole hand.
I had a
jazz
band come out behind me.
Light show.
They didn't play.
They didn't. They were here,
but they're here for support.
It made for
I
great
travel
audio.
everywhere with an emotional support band.
Yes, you do.
It gets expensive.
It does. They've been with you since college, as I recall.
They've been here for every episode.
They're always in studio.
They're so professional, though. They're so quiet.
So quiet.
So quiet. You want a good band that can be silent. That's the key. Before we get into Pokemon, I had to go original series theme song for this, but this is going to be controversial for some of the longtime listeners out there. Not my favorite Pokemon theme song.
Really?
My favorite Pokemon theme song is from the Johto series.
I have.
It's so good.
I have nothing to compare that to, but I am shocked and appalled, Sketch.
Yeah.
I am as outraged as the longtime listeners.
Upbeat. It's about adventure.
Sure.
Do-do-do-do-do-do.
Pokemon Johto.
Pokemon Johto.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It was a little islandy there.
Yeah, it was yeah. Took place after the Indigo League, though, which is interesting because that was all island-based.
No idea what that is.
So, guys, if this is our Detective Pikachu episode...
There's going to be a lot of that, longtime listeners.
There's going to be a lot of Pokemon...
I've got my notebook, I've got my mortarboard and my robes and my monocle, and I am ready to learn all things Pokemon.
I was going to say, what do you think Pokemon is with this?
I'm getting my education.
Okay, yeah. Guys, for what is this, episode 54?
Something like that,
and
maybe.
I think this might be the first time where I have a deeper base knowledge than you have.
I think it might be.
And I'm super excited.
Cool.
I've been wanting to do Pokemon for a while. It feels great.
Yeah.
Because I've been taking a nice deep dive into Pokemon lately to prepare for this.
Did you know, Sketch, that there was also an animated Knight Rider classic?
Yeah, we're going to be doing those kind of things.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Except with Pokemon, there's way too much. There's way too much.
Did not know there was a Detective Pikachu until the movie Detective Pikachu came out. So I am ready to have my mind blown here.
All right.
Shall
So, guys, spoilers for all things Pokemon.
yeah.
And
Should we get into our personal history with Pokemon?
Sure, let's get into our personal history first. Why don't you do yours?
Yeah,
because
it's probably
it'll
gonna
be
be
quick.
shorter. I was aware of the original series. I think
Now, when you say series, game series or animated
cartoon
series? Okay.
animated series. I know there are some video games,
Yeah, there's a
primarily
couple.
on the Game Boys Advanced. 3DS, I think, was probably the last one.
We'll get
Maybe one came out on like the GameCube or the Wii.
Okay.
Maybe.
Well, yay.
I know
can't
there's
wait.
like a million different series. They all seem to follow Ash and Pikachu.
Yep.
And
Yep, Ash Ketchum has, since the beginning,
in
been
them
our
all?
protagonist.
is he in all the series?
Yes.
Okay.
Of the main, of course, the main series. There have been some
Offshoots.
shorts that have come out. This is Detective Pikachu, which we will be primarily talking about.
Sure.
Was the first Pokemon movie to not feature Ash Ketchum.
Wow.
So,
And the first live action.
and also the first live action.
And no like Easter egg with him either.
No, but there was a red Easter egg in there. Red
Right.
would be the original trainer of the first Pokemon game, and his rival being Blue. And there is a scene, a very short cutaway scene, where it shows a Pokemon trainer in a stadium in Detective Pikachu, and that was supposed to be an homage to Red.
I did not get that Easter
And
egg.
then, of course, Ash is loosely based on Red,
Gotcha.
but Ash has kind of become his own
guy.
guy at this point.
Yeah. So did not play any of the games.
Okay,
did
perfect.
not watch really any of the series.
Awesome.
Did not know Pikachu was a detective. Was pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, he's
And here we are.
And here we are. And then you saw the movie. You saw Detective
I saw
Pikachu.
Detective Pikachu, and I mean, spoilers. I enjoyed myself.
Very good. As a non-Pokemon fan.
I asked you about it, and you were like, "If you're a fan, you'll enjoy it."
Yeah.
So I was I didn't have any real expectations going in, but just knowing that not really a fan of, I'm not anti-Pokemon by any means.
Yeah.
I'm not like Team Digimon. That's not me. I'm not that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, just didn't really have anything to base it on, and Elise and I enjoyed ourselves. It was a good time.
Very good.
Sketch, what's your history with Pokemon? The lights just dimmed. A spotlight has come on. The band is queuing up, but they won't play.
They won't play.
They will not play.
They're always
Professionals.
They're always primed and ready to go.
Professionals.
They're fantastic. The year is
Makes for
1998.
great audio, guys. 1998.
No, it had to have been a little later than that. I was in high school when
I want to say the series, I first became aware of it in like 96, maybe.
Well, then you were ahead of the curve.
I'm thinking that's like when it premiered.
In America, it premiered in 98.
Okay.
So you're in the ballpark.
Okay.
So in high school, I want to say my sophomore year of high school, I got Pokemon Blue. That was my first Pokemon game. And Pokemon games are always released in pairs.
Okay.
It's one of their marketing strategies that not all Pokemon are released in a single game.
Interesting.
Because, of course, money. But the idea behind it is that part of being able to obtain all the Pokemon should be trading. Trading is a big aspect of Pokemon and Pokemon games. Like a social aspect. So, back in the day when the Game Boys had the link cable between the two, we were Pokemon trading. I
was gonna say, like, which Game Boy is this?
This would have been, I guess, my color. This would have been my Game Boy Color, my lime green Game Boy Color.
I only ever had the brick, and that had the cable to link up with people. Still.
Yes, and I think the old we're talking about the old gray brick with the olive and black screen.
That's the only Game Boy I ever had. I recently found it.
I think it came out on that.
Really?
And maybe that's what I had it on before I got the Game Boy Color. There's a good chance.
Wow.
I'll look it up for a midstream to make sure.
Cool.
But so Pokemon holds a special place in my heart because before I played Pokemon, I played Super Smash Brothers on the Nintendo 64. Pikachu
right there with you. Yeah. Pikachu was a playable character.
And that is what kind
rat.
of introduced me to Pokemon. I was like, well, I better check out this game that he came from. And it's a game all about collecting, and that is my jam.
That is your jam.
So I was heavy into it.
Longtime listeners, you will never know the pain of sitting next to Sketch and watching him sail across the sunken Hyrule looking for sunken treasure and not finishing the story mode?
2 points. 1, no pain involved. No pain involved.
Yeah, no pain involved for you.
2, no one had a gun to your head. Like, you know, my band had to stay, but you didn't. Guys, shut up. I know it was funny, but don't laugh, guys.
Nobody asked you.
Okay.
Professionals.
Here's a little story to warm your heart.
Be professional.
There was this kid in my...
I know where this is going.
Yeah, you do.
I do.
But not all our long-term
Origin stories.
Origin stories. There is this kid in my health class, sophomore year in our high school.
Oh.
Kind of a quiet kid. Kind of stayed to himself. And one day I saw that he was in health. We just kicked around a lot, like on the bleachers. It wasn't
also,
a big
like,
curriculum.
Yeah.
And he
health class in the late 90s
was not much.
Not much doing.
And I forget if he was playing. We probably weren't bold enough to play during class time, but I think he was reading the book that came along with the game.
That is also a bold move for other reasons.
And I went up to him and I was like, "Oh, do you play Pokemon?" And he thought I was going to make fun of him mercilessly.
Right.
And he was very nervous to admit to me that he played Pokemon. But he did. And I said, I play Pokemon too. That's all. We should trade, because he had the red version, I had the blue version. It was perfect.
I was going to say, of course.
And that person ended up being Tim Hoshi, longtime listener
friend
of the pod, and co-hosted our Full Metal Alchemist episode.
Host of the Hidden Histories podcast.
Yes,
nice
excellent podcast that you should listen to. And we've been friends ever since.
Wow.
I never made fun of him for Pokemon, but I did make fun of him mercilessly for a bunch of other stuff. Sorry about that, Tim Hoshi. So Pokemon gave birth to one of my greatest friendships. And other than that, I mean, I played all through Blue. I got Yellow, which was kind of like this relaunch of the classic that followed more closely to the anime. I watched the anime pretty religiously when it was coming out. It was definitely of that vein of a marketing cartoon,
right?
Like a Transformers or a Ninja Turtles.
Oh, yeah.
Like the cartoon is there to introduce
the
toys,
and the
games,
toys.
The toys were always minimal for Pokemon as compared to other properties. It was always the games and the trading cards.
Well, I was going to say it was the Playmates Ninja Turtle figures of the 21st century.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to keep releasing games.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to have to keep buying the games to collect all the Pokemon that we're introducing in the show.
Yep.
And now that you're saying that, I do remember that aspect of the gaming experience, and they were all primarily Game Boy games because they
were
wanted
all handheld,
tradable.
They were all handheld.
That was the whole point.
Every once in a while, you would have a Pokemon console game come up, but it was unrelated to the main series.
Yeah,
like you'd get like Pokemon Snap, which was like taking pictures.
Right. I was going to say
Pokemon Stadium, which was battling.
Snap seemed particularly ridiculous to me.
It was ridiculous, but it was like a fun time.
You could take pictures of them and then also like somehow make them interact with
you and the Pokemon around them, and
and
then there were
was that Nintendo 64?
It was Nintendo 64. You were always in a cart, like going through like a land, so you were very stationary on a path.
It was a rail shooter.
Yeah,
but without shooting.
You were shooting your camera, and it seemed very straightforward until you realized that there were ways to get other Pokemon to show up, whether it was to be evolve or to just show up on the scene. There was a way to get them to it. So all the Pokemon existed in the game. You just had to figure out how to get them. It's kind of neat. It was kind of like, I don't know. There's more collecting. I love collecting.
Yeah.
A lot of people love collecting.
You are the collector.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I am.
Of the two of us.
So from there, I Red and Yellow were my two ones that I played.
Blue and Yellow?
Yeah, sorry. Blue and Yellow were the two I played pretty exclusively.
I pay attention long time listeners.
I didn't play a lot of the following ones because I did kind of feel like, well, I already played one.
Right.
They're all very similar. I didn't play another Pokemon until they relaunched Silver and Gold, and they made Soul Silver and Heart Gold. And to my mind, those are the best renditions of Pokemon ever made. Yeah.
Is that like Rose Gold?
Yes. We'll call it that.
Sure.
Yeah. But what it was the story of the Johto region, but expanded to include everything, and it really merged two games together perfectly.
Oh yeah, that's amazing.
It was fantastic. And it had the Pokewalker, which is like a little Pokeball that you'd hang on you. It was a pedometer, and you could upload a Pokemon from your game to
I
a
remember
Pokewalker.
this. Yes.
Yeah.
And that was how you trained them by
Yep.
doing steps.
And that was so much fun. And like
I
at
remember
anime
everybody being
conventions,
obsessed with
everyone
that.
would have theirs on, and you would go up to people and be like, "You want to touch balls?" And then you would like tap their Pokeball, and like you'd meet each other. Oh, it's so much fun. Pokemon has often been like just like a fun way to interact with people.
A lot of ball
now that
touching.
I think about it. A lot of ball
Sketch
touching.
did a lot of ball touching at cons.
Oh yeah, it's sad now because now when I ask people if they want to tap balls, nobody does.
You're old.
It's really sad.
Nobody wants to tap your ball.
And then
Long-time listeners, is anyone as lost as I am here?
No,
just me.
Everyone's on board.
Okay, just me.
Okay. I've always been aware of Pokemon. I've always have a soft spot in my heart for it. My heart gold. But I've never been the person, even though I am the collector, to get every single Pokemon game and play every single Pokemon game. It's just too much.
Yeah, it seems like it'd be a lot.
And then a couple years ago, Pokemon Go came out, and I just had a blast playing Pokemon Go.
It's back now, right?
It never stopped, but there's definitely been a resurgence.
Popularity.
Oh yeah, it definitely dipped in popularity. The summer it came out was like such a fun summer because everyone was playing it.
The summer it came out, I basically didn't go outside.
Yeah,
because
it's all Pokemon trainers out there.
Pokemon trainers,
yeah, so cool.
And they're like the where we live in proximity to us, like there's a school there, and that's like the gym for this region.
Yeah.
And there's like a big field behind it, and that's the gym.
Yeah, that must be where all the battles take place.
Oh,
yeah. You'd be that like average person. You'd be the Tim Goodman.
Well, I'm like trying to fly my kite or like pilot my drone, and like all these like people with like children and adults with cell phones are like, I guess, battling each other.
Yeah. Collecting, battling gyms.
Sure,
whatever.
And I'm just trying to fly my kite or my drone or like have a good time.
Yeah, for those of you guys
like,
who thought Shades was annoyed because he was trying to do adult things, no,
I'm just trying to do
different,
other childlike
whimsical
things.
Yeah. There's room for all of us.
There's room for, well, except that summer there wasn't.
Yeah, it's like very big that summer.
It was.
I've been playing ever since with varying degrees of intensity, but during the good weather, my wife and I love to go out for a Pokemon walk. Take Doodle with us.
Sure.
And it's just a fun time.
Doodle have a Pokemon?
Does he have one?
Yeah.
Currently?
Has he bonded to a Pokemon yet? No, not yet.
No. I should get him a like stuffed Pokemon of some sort.
Yeah.
I've assigned him fatherly, of course.
Gotcha.
Squirtle, because Squirtle was my first starter.
Gotcha.
So when we were designing his nursery, and it's kind of like geek themed, I painted him a painting of Squirtle because I was giving my first starter to my first son. Yeah, kind of a little symbolism.
Passing down your first partner.
Yeah. But once he's old enough, I'll let him pick his own.
Sure.
Of course. This is 2019. I'm not gonna tell my son which starter he can choose. Oh my god, what
kind of dad would you be?
What kind of barbarians have you all grown up with? Probably a bunch of Charmander dads. Am I right? Shots fired. Boo-boo! Anyway, that's my history of Pokemon.
What a history it is.
It's been a franchise that I've been very happy to be a part of.
Sketch, here's a question for you. What came first, Pokemon or Zelda?
For me, Zelda.
Okay.
Yeah, Zelda came first. Which is why I ended up getting Super Smash Brothers.
Right.
Because I loved
Link.
Ocarina of Time.
Yeah.
And then Link was in Super Smash Brothers.
Right. Both Links.
The first one, it was only Link. The very first N64
Oh, yeah,
one.
it was like, right. You're correct.
With the crudest Hyrule Castle stage. But whatever. It was awesome at the time. And then, so like Zelda directly led to Super Smash, which then led to Pokemon. So,
wow.
And I'm by no means like into Pokemon the way I'm into like Zoids.
Gotcha.
Like that Zoids is like grip my heart. And Pokemon just has just a very happy place in my brain.
Sure.
Pokemon.
Thanks for sharing.
Oh, and then I saw Detective Pikachu when it came out. When it was announced, I flipped out. The first trailer was like the dream.
We saw something together, and there was a trailer for it.
I don't remember what it was that we saw, but it was definitely, I mean, that scene where Tim steps out of the train into Rhyme City for the first time, and it's just people with their Pokemon, and it just looked so goddamn good.
Yeah.
I was
and
like, I cannot wait for this.
Pikachu turned around and spoke with Ryan Reynolds' voice.
Yeah. And I was like, okay, but okay.
On board.
Yeah. Because there are so many offshoots of Pokemon games.
Right.
I couldn't even begin to tell you all the offshoots.
I guess this is a kind of a silly question, longtime listeners, forgive me. Is in the Detective Pikachu game.
Yes.
Is Detective Pikachu mainline story Pikachu?
No.
No, it is
It's not.
It is a
It's a
different
different
Pikachu.
Pikachu. You want me to do my Pokemon history that I have prepared?
Sure.
Because
Answer some of my questions.
It's somewhere in there.
So typical. Yes.
Yeah.
Just teach the lesson
So,
sketch,
guys,
and I will sit here with my
sit
notebook
back
and my monocle and my mortarboard and robes.
and enjoy for another sketch history lesson. You don't get a lot of these.
You don't get a lot of these.
So enjoy. Band, are you ready?
How you feel over there on that side of the table, sketch?
I mean, it feels great.
Yeah.
I don't know why we had to physically change sides to the table.
Well,
it was more symbolic, I guess.
yeah.
But I love it. I mean, there are like snacks over here and a comfortable chair. Shades always makes me stand whenever we record.
Yeah, it's
so
that's
nice.
Just my
over
way of
here.
asserting authority over the situation.
One of many. Yeah. One of many. Okay, Pokemon. To talk about Detective Pikachu, we have to talk about Pokemon. So, Pokemon is the creation of Satoshi Tajiri, who combined his childhood hobby of bug catching with the capsule mechanics of the Ultraman show Ultra 7.
Ooh.
He founded the game company Game Freak in 1989, and Nintendo funded the 6-year creation of its first game. Yeah.
6 years. And what was the first game?
The first games were Pokemon Red and Green, which were released in Japan on February 27th of 1996. And then due to its success, was followed very quickly by Pokemon Blue, which was just the same game with refined graphics and sounds.
And a different color cartridge.
The success of the game trilogy, I guess, at this point, led to the creation of a trading card game released in October 96, an anime that premiered in April 97, and a Tokyo brick-and-mortar store, which opened in 98.
Oh,
so,
wow.
I mean, right off the get-go, Pokemon is grabbing Japan and, like, spreading. You know?
It's an interesting take on it.
Well, it's like,
sure, I'm with you.
It's just like ingraining itself into Japanese pop culture. Pokemon then came to North America with both the anime and our first games, Red and Blue, releasing in September of 98. And then the trading card also came to America 4 months later. A lot of people were really into the trading card game and not as much into the games, and vice versa. I was a games kid, not a trading card kid.
I remember the trading cards.
Oh, yeah.
Vividly, because that was also like the advent of Magic the Gathering when it kind of became mainstream.
For
the collapse of Pogs, the
so
rise of
many.
Magic. There was a Star Wars customizable card game, a Star Trek customizable card game. Pokemon had a card game, and then Yu-Gi-Oh came along pretty close after that, right? And that kind of dominated the trading card market.
And the Pokemon card game, I mean, so many kids were just collecting them. It was like the new version of baseball cards.
Yeah.
And trading them back and forth. Again, throwing
them up against the wall, seeing which ones would land flat.
Yeah. Putting them in the spokes of your tires.
Yeah.
Just to make your car sound like a motorcycle.
Yep.
I mean, your bike.
Your bicycle.
Yeah. Then there was the first Pokemon movie. The very first Pokemon movie, Mewtwo Strikes Back.
Yeah.
It was released in theaters in Japan in July of 98, and then in America, November of 99. So big span there.
I do remember that being a monstrous event.
I saw it in theaters.
I did not see it
with my cousins. By this point in Pokemon history, so this is 98, 99, Pikachu as Ash Ketchum's Pokemon had become the most popular and recognized Pokemon and became the company mascot, which, if you've started with the games, Pikachu, very minor Pokemon, not that good.
Gotcha.
Not even one of the starters.
Right.
But just worked really well animation-wise for Ash's companion. He took off from there.
Was it specifically the silhouette of him on Ash's shoulder?
It might have been kind of that idea that could perch with you. Very soft and cuddly.
Sure.
I mean, Pokemon have always, I didn't write this down, but Pokemon have always been cute.
Yeah.
Like, that's a big selling point
until
of Pokemon.
They evolve and become terrifying.
Yeah, but even their terrifying renditions are still, like, if you compared the scariest Pokemon to, like, anything you see in Digimon, Pokemon is always cuter.
Yeah,
They don't go too far into terrifying. Some of the notions and attacks are certainly intimidating and scary, but that was always a big thing for the creator and the founding company. Pokemon should be cute. And when they came to America, the American branch of Nintendo was like, well, we need to redesign these for an American audience and make them rougher and tougher and kind of like, by this point, video games are for boys and we need to make these more boy friendly. And they stuck their heels in, and they said, no, we're going to keep them the way they are, cute and cuddly.
Good
and
on them.
If your audiences don't like them, then they don't like them.
We'll just sell them in Japan.
But here's the thing. We loved them.
We loved them.
We absolutely loved them.
Ate it
So
up.
I'm so glad they did that, because not only did it show that, like, all right, boys can like
Cute cuddly
these
things.
cute cuddly things,
Sure.
but it also certainly brought girls to the table. You
Yeah.
know, brought girls into some video game. I'm sure there's tons of girl gamers whose first game was the Pokemon franchise.
Yeah.
Just as many as there are boys whose first game was
I think that's fair
Pokemon
to say.
franchise. So, moving on. Since 1996, a new Pokemon game in the main series has come out at least every 2 years. And there are 17 games in the main series. The 18th game, Sword and Shield, comes out, if all goes according to plan, this week, November 15th, 2019.
2019.
In case
Wow.
you were listening in the future. There are now 8 different regions in the Pokemon world and over 800 Pokemon.
I thought the whole point was that there were only 100 and something Pokemon and you had to catch them all.
150.
Yeah.
But
And now there are 8.
But if you catch them all, why would you buy new games? So the way the Pokemon universe works is there's always a new region. So you start in, if you bought Red and Blue back in the day, that was the Kanto region, and they had animals, Pokemon that lived specifically in that region. But if you went to another region, different animals lived there.
Okay, so let me ask you this question, Sketch. If I caught a Bulbasaur back in Blue,
yep,
do I still have that Pokemon? If as I load in Sword and Shield, is there a way for me to retain the Pokemon that I have captured?
I don't know
do
about
I have to
Sword
start
and Shield.
all over with every game?
I can't speak for Sword and Shield. I know for other games they did allow you to transfer over Pokemon from your previous games.
Wow.
Not all of them. There was like a window recently where some of the games allowed that kind of back transfer of Pokemon. That was one of the great things about Soul Silver, was that you could, once you beat the main game, you could then go back to Kanto and kind of play through the original game, so you could like rebuild your team from back then, and it was just lovely. It was just
brilliant.
Oh, what a lovely time. Detective Pikachu, the movie, is the 23rd Pokemon movie, but the first live adaptation. All Pokemon movies have had a box office release in Japan, but only 8 of them have been released in American theaters.
Wow.
All the rest went straight to video. I'm surprised that there were 8 in theaters in America. I've only seen Detective Pikachu and Mewtwo Strikes Back in theaters.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did not know there were so many.
I know. Detective Pikachu, the game, is one of Pokemon's many spin-off games. I never played it.
I also never played it. Surprise.
It came out in Japan in February 2016, and then the rest of the world got it in March of 2018. Unlike the other Pokemon games, it is more of an adventure game using narrative storytelling and features a talking Pokemon. None of the others do. The film, Detective Pikachu, was announced in July 2016, and Detective Pikachu was chosen as a way to diverge from the typical Red/Ash storyline. The filmmakers really wanted to have a fresh and different take on the Pokemon universe instead of just following this character that we've been following for so long. And Rob Letterman was hired as the film's director.
Yes.
Filming took place mainly in London and Denver, and principal photography took place between January and May of 2018. Unlike most other contemporary movies, Detective Pikachu was shot with traditional film rather than digital to help the end results look more realistic. And I think that was a very smart decision. Detective Pikachu released on May 3rd in Japan, May 10th in America, and it went to DVD on August 6th.
That's interesting. So it was shot on traditional film.
Isn't that?
Wow. I think that really helped.
I think it was. I think you'd be hard pressed to find anyone who wouldn't think this movie looked very realistic for having Pokemon in the world.
Right.
And I think the fact that it was filmed on traditional film
helped it.
Was such a smart decision.
Yeah.
I really think it
wow. That's special.
Yeah, it is. It's really special.
And we looked up Rob Letterman's career earlier and set up on the fact that he had also directed or been on the crew, specifically lighting and film for Lake Placid, and I instantly made that connection. Like, ooh, this movie had the same visual overtones and feel of Lake Placid.
And I have not seen Lake Placid, and that's about a boy trying to catch an alligator to be his companion.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see it.
A man-child.
Yeah.
It is.
Can't wait to see that one.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Yeah, we should do Lake Placid.
Really. I think that was one of the first DVDs I ever purchased.
Really?
Or rented.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Guys, back in the day, if you wanted to see a movie,
you had to go to,
but you didn't own the movie.
Yeah.
You had to go to a store and rent a movie, kind of like a
physical
library
copy.
Which now we have to describe it. A library is long-time listeners.
Okay, long-time listeners.
Have you ever borrowed something from a friend?
Back in the day, before moving pictures, we had books.
Okay.
Letters.
Think of your iPad.
Symbols printed on paper pages.
Stack 150
sketching it. We're going to be here all day.
We are going to
go get on your computer.
Just
Google libraries and books.
Now you're on the same page.
Now you're on the same page as
Perfect.
us. We had stores that were basically the same things for movies. And we rented them on round discs that kind of looked like CDs.
Oh God, now we have to explain.
Oh God, now we have to.
Google
CDs.
We're giving a lot of homework this week.
Oh wow.
The band is loving this, by the way. I I call them silent giggles. That's what they are over there. They're just a lot of shaking shoulders.
Oh
yeah.
Okay, we could be here all day explaining this. Just Google DVDs and Blockbuster.
Yeah, and Lake Placid.
There
you go.
Mission accomplished.
That's Detective Pikachu.
Shades, former educator.
Yeah. Perfect. Google it.
Do
you want a synopsis of the movie before we go into the
please,
the money
synopsis of the movie
and all of that stuff?
This is a sketch-heavy episode, long-time listeners.
A fan favorite.
Instant fan
Definitely
favorite.
fan favorite. I could feel it. I could feel it already.
Like, whew. More Pokemon episodes.
So, Detective Pikachu, the movie. 21-year-old Tim Goodman is living the dream of anyone who has grown up since 1996, except for Shades. He lives in a world teeming with real-life, honest-to-goodness Pokemon. However, unlike practically everyone else in the world, Tim has turned his back on the life of adventure and companionship of his peers and has instead become an insurance adjuster. Upon learning of his estranged father's untimely death, Tim travels to Rhyme City, a bustling metropolis where Pokeballs and battles have been outlawed, in order to see to his father's final affairs. It is here where he meets his father's Pokemon partner, Pikachu, and discovers that his father's death may not have been an accident. As Tim seems to be the only human able to understand Pikachu, and Pikachu himself has no memory of the quote-unquote accident, the two form a tentative alliance to uncover the truth. While piecing together the clues, they discover silent informants, illegal Pokefighting, genetic experiments, and caffeine addiction, all of which lead to a plot that could disrupt the harmony of Rhyme City and the rest of the world. It's crime noir meets cute and cuddly, with twists and turns, heart and action. It's Detective Pikachu.
Perfect.
Thank you. Without giving any away.
Giving away anything.
The big hints.
What was the first Pokemon that he tries to capture?
A Cubone.
Cubones wear the skulls
of their mothers on their head. Yes.
Wow. That is dark.
Now, Pokemon, as I said, have always been cute and cuddly, but when you look at the lore of Pokemon, there's a lot of dark stuff in Pokemon.
Yeah.
And that is, in my personal opinion, a direct relation of being born in the Japanese culture, because kind of the supernatural folklore of the area has definitely blended itself into pop culture.
2 atomic bombs.
Yeah. And even just, I mean, the
nuclear reactor meltdowns.
Thousands of pounds.
Tsunamis.
Too many. But
invasions.
Yes. I mean, we Americans live in a country
is rife with tragedy.
Yes. And we as Americans live in a country whose
rife with
folk
tragedies
has
of our
really
own
been,
making.
Yeah. But in our folklore has been like this combination from multiple other cultures as they've come to America.
Transplants.
Japan is so steeped in its own tradition and its own folklore that there's a certain depth to it. So it really permeates so much life, and it shows up in games like this. And so to us, a lot of it seems dark, whereas like a lot of Japanese children playing the game would recognize
Right,
the origins
right.
of some of these stories. Not necessarily Cubone. I'm thinking of a lot
Yeah.
of ghost type Pokemon. Yeah, Cubone wears the skull of his mother on his head. And if you are familiar with the Pokemon Kangaskhan, it's a kangaroo type Pokemon. Kangaskhan. Get it?
Yeah.
It's like
Oh yeah,
Kangaskhan.
I got it. Yep.
It is a kangaroo Pokemon, and it has a little Joey in its pouch. You know, like a little tiny Kangaskhan in its pouch. And it has been researched by real life people, not in the Pokemon world, that the skull that Cubone wears is a Kangaskhan skull. So a Cubone is actually the child of a killed Kangaskhan.
A Cubone
Mhm.
is the child of a slain Kangaskhan.
Correct.
Like the Joey that gets carried.
The
in his
Joey
pouch
escapes the pouch
after the death of the Kangaskhan.
Yep.
And becomes a Cubone.
Yep. Kind of like goes on its like own evolutionary path now.
Okay, now if a Kangaskhan isn't killed,
Yeah.
does it just become a Kangaskhan?
Correct. Yeah.
It's a whammer.
It is a whammer.
Wow.
And there's a lot of them. And
There are a lot of Cubones.
And I love that that's the Pokemon that
he decides to try and
yeah, because
capture.
his friend is like, I found a Pokemon for you. It wears the skull of its dead mother on its head, and you have a dead mother.
Right.
And it's like, oh, thanks, buddy.
Dark.
Thanks, pal.
Yeah.
I'm glad you're moving.
Oh, I loved that his friend was Dopender.
Yeah.
From Deadpool.
I loved it.
That was great.
And another thing I love about this movie is they're not kids.
Oh no. They're
a Dopender is definitely an adult, but still with like that childlike love of Pokemon.
Right.
And that's at the end of the day who I think this movie was for.
Marketed to?
Yeah.
Sure.
Adults with a childlike wonder for Pokemon.
That seems legit.
Yeah. Do you want to talk about the almighty
internet scores?
Well, I was going to say money first.
Oh, the almighty money. Sure. We can do money
first.
first. How much do you think it costs to make, Sketch?
Why do you do this? Why do you do this?
I love to torment you so.
$92 million.
$92 million. That was a good guess. A little bit more.
Little bit more than
more.
that. $125 million.
That was closer, a little bit more.
$408 million.
Well, that was way.
I went too high.
You went too high.
I went too high too fast.
You should never go on The Price is Right.
Oh, no.
No.
I'm more of a Wheel of Fortune kind of fella.
Sure.
Yeah.
150 million. You're 25 million off until you went to 400.
You kept pushing me too
Yeah.
much.
150 million. How much do you think it made? Total.
375 million.
Good guess. 431.6 million.
That was a legit good guess.
That was a good guess. Now, here's the thing. Domestic.
Yeah.
Domestic, it only made $144.1 million, which means it lost money.
Yeah.
When they decide whether movies are going to get sequels or not, or like if it's a success, they base those statistics largely on the domestic numbers.
Okay.
So
but this movie has already been greenlit for a sequel.
It's already been greenlit for a sequel, which is very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they'll probably want to rework their marketing and release strategy.
Well, it is. Yeah.
I am unclear how it is they're going to make a sequel based on how
Correct.
this ended.
I think a sequel would have to be name only. I think a sequel to this movie would just have to take place in this world.
Right.
It would be very difficult to follow along with these characters again.
Correct. Yeah. I don't think we'll see these characters again.
Yeah.
I have a big question about
which, like, I'm fine with.
Yeah.
I'm fine with.
Yeah, they can
they were great.
They can
but
disembody
I
Ryan Reynolds and put him into any Pokemon they want.
Absolutely.
It doesn't have to be Pikachu.
And I don't need to keep following the same characters for 10, 15 movies.
Yeah.
Like, okay, it's cool with Star Wars and Marvel, but it's also not cool
with
Star Wars and Marvel. That's why I said it's also not.
Yeah, I don't know if it's cool anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. Are we doing our all-important internet scores?
All-important internet scores. IMDb gives Detective Pikachu a 6.7.
Okay.
Rotten Tomatoes gives it a 68%.
Okay.
94% of Google reviewers loved this movie. And Shades of Geeking Out with Shades and Sketch gave it an 87.
Yeah, that's about where I thought you'd be.
Yeah.
Somewhere in the 80s,
yeah.
I thought.
Which is probably where this movie belonged. Somewhere in the 80s.
The Rotten Tomatoes score, being that
It seems very
high.
low.
It does seem low, but that makes it certified fresh, right?
68%?
Yeah. I believe it does, because one of the things I read about the movie it's I think the only video game adaptation to be certified fresh from Rotten Tomatoes.
Cool.
Yeah. Sketch.
I gave it an 87.
Geeking Out with
Sketch, what do you...
Sketch.
Drum roll.
I gave it a 92.
92!
92. Definitely in the 90s for me.
Yeah, which is probably where this movie belongs.
I thought it was great. I think delighted would be the word. I was delighted. It certainly tugged at all my heartstrings, my Pokemon heartstrings. It was so fulfilling to see the Pokemon depicted so faithfully. And I was surprised at the story, because I'm unaware of the Detective Pikachu game and like the narrative of that. I don't know if this match. Nope, never played that game. And so I was all in.
Cool.
I was all in.
Do you want to start with raves or rants?
Let's start with raves.
Great.
Can I go
raves? First?
Of course you can.
Thank you. My first rave, I knew very little about Pokemon going into this, and I walked away with a real appreciation for the world.
Hooray.
Yeah.
That makes me happy.
And I love that. I love when I can walk into something that's established that I missed or have not been a part of, and don't feel like the dummy in the audience. So like, oh, you don't know what this is. You don't know what it, like, this is this inside joke, and you don't get it.
Yeah.
And we've purposely designed it for you to not get it. That's probably the worst feeling in the world when you walk into a movie, or tune into a TV show.
Sure.
You want to try it out and you don't get the joke because you didn't watch the previous series that this is a spinoff of.
Yeah, you're not in the in crowd.
Yeah. And
you're being excluded.
And this movie didn't do that, and it was it was a wonderful gateway into this world where I feel like I could go back and watch a Pokemon series or an episode of the show now, and yes, I understand the mechanics of there are Pokemon, you have to catch them and train them, but more so the world itself. So I think that was awesome. It was very smart, and it was incredibly well done, in my opinion.
I will piggyback, not something I wrote down, but in you saying that to me means that the movie captured the spirit of Pokemon, the company, the game universe,
right?
Because just like I have not played every game, sure, I started at the beginning. You could start at literally any game.
Yeah.
There is no, you do not need any prior knowledge to pick up any Pokemon game.
Okay.
You just start your adventure and you're into this world.
So I don't have to have been playing since Red and Blue.
Absolutely not. Sword and Shield could absolutely be your very first Pokemon game, and you would not be at any.
Is that going to be a Nintendo exclusive?
It's going to be on
probably
Switch.
Not going to be able to play that.
I will also not be playing it because I don't have a Switch.
I don't have a Switch.
Yeah, because I guess now the Switch does like a portable something or whatever.
Well, you can. The Switch is a portable system that becomes a stationary game platform, but they're also going to release a solely portable version of the Switch.
Yeah, I think they already did recently, like the Switch Lite, which is so dumb. Guys, why didn't you call it the Light Switch?
Light Switch.
Call it the fucking Light Switch. Come on. Anyway.
Well, I mean, we'll help you out as much as we can.
But we can only do so much.
Only do so much.
Band loved that one.
They did.
Band loved that one.
They faux clanged their cymbals and gave us a drum roll.
We're getting tears over there. Oh, tears.
They are just in stitches.
They're
here all week, guys. They're here all week.
They have to be.
Tip them well.
They have to be.
Yeah.
Don't
have a choice.
Pokemon has always been like wildly inclusive. You can get on this train at any point. You do not need to start from the beginning.
Cool.
I will say as my first rave that this is how you do a video game movie. This is how you do an adaptation.
Oh, strong agree.
You take the established world, but you don't try to retell the story that's in the game, because a video game story doesn't always translate to film.
Mario Brothers.
They did plum, though.
They did plum.
They did plum.
They did.
So they take this established world, and sure, they make...
Long-time listeners, did you think that was going to be the thing that the through line through all of our episodes? But they did.
They did plum, and that's important.
Did you think that was going to be the takeaway from our show?
To plum. It's a big rave.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
That's okay. And you know what? Pikachu detected.
He did detect.
Yeah.
He's a master detective.
I guess I just like it when a movie fulfills its occupational title.
You know, like Ghostbusters, what was
They
my big complaint with Ghostbusters Answer the Call? They didn't bust any ghosts.
And I don't think they answered a single call.
They didn't answer a single call.
Yeah. See? Jurassic Park?
No fire pole.
Not a single dinosaur parked. At all. None of them.
No driving whatsoever. False advertising.
So what was I saying? Oh, yeah. So, like you said, you don't have to have any prior knowledge of the Pokemon world to get into this movie and just enjoy it. But if you do have knowledge of it, you're also rewarded by like these little connections, these little Easter eggs, like the fact that the main bad guy, whose name I forget, whatever,
Bill Nye.
Bill Nye's
Not his name in the movie.
not his name in the movie, but his companion Pokemon was a Ditto, and like that made all the sense to me once it was revealed, because a long-standing lore is that Dittos were created through the process of making Mewtwo from Mew, which you don't know anything about.
No.
And who gives a shit?
Nope.
But I do know about that, and I was like, oh, fun connection.
Fun little connection.
You know?
So Mew was like the first Pokemon, and he's now extinct, and Mewtwo is a genetically engineered ancestor?
Mew is believed to be extinct. However, Mew is more timeless than people realize. So Mew still exists in the world. However, there have been like almost Jurassic Parkian like DNA extractions of ancient Mew.
And that's what Mewtwo is.
What Mewtwo is made.
Gotcha.
So Mewtwo was made in a lab by people. 20 years ago in Kanto, that was the first movie that they reference in this movie. It is that Mewtwo,
right.
And they reference in that little hologram scene that like 20 years ago in the Kanto region, this Mewtwo escaped. That's the first movie, which also came out 20 years ago. So it's all like...
Well done. Well done, guys.
Did you need to know that to enjoy the movie?
Did not.
But I did know that. And I was like...
It's a nice little...
Thank you for being like faithful.
It's a nice little treat.
You know? So they balanced it so nicely where like new people like you could enjoy it, but like fans like me could still find the continuity.
Right.
And take this new movie and still go, no, it still belongs in the universe. This is great.
Cool.
Yeah. It's a sketch episode.
It is a sketch episode.
You got another rave?
Sure. I thought this was a great example of world building, a human Pokemon utopia with a great threat in the form of the gas that makes them hyper-violent and it threatens to derail this human Pokemon utopia that seems to not exist anywhere else in the world. I thought that was such a great premise.
Yep.
And again, these, like, as you said, these cute, cuddly companion creatures that become hyper-violent and literally just want to tear you limb from limb.
Yep.
And at one point, you're kind of led to believe that maybe I was reading into this that's what happened to Tim's dad. Like his Pikachu became violent and killed him.
Yeah.
Am I reading into that?
No, I don't think you are. I mean, it was definitely on the table as a possibility. And there's the point where Pikachu himself is like, "Oh shit, I was responsible for
my partner's
Harry's
death. Yeah, Harry's death."
So I definitely think that, I mean, this is a detective story, so there are many leads to follow. There are many possibilities for the outcome, and I think that was certainly on the table.
Cool.
Definitely on the table.
So I thought it was a great premise. When we get into rants, I'll talk about it a little bit more. But I thought it was a great setup. It was fun, and in a movie with Detective Pikachu and they're depositing a mystery, it was a great little clue. Maybe red herring, maybe not, but a nice little thread that you could pull for a little while.
Yeah, and it again, like a good detective movie, it gave you enough that you would naturally make those assumptions.
Right.
And your assumptions were wrong, but the information they gave you was not wrong.
Was not wrong.
It just led to
a different avenue.
Yeah, that you might not come to.
Oh my god! When he throws all of the papers out all over the apartment, and with no rhyme or reason, it's like, what is like this? These are clues.
Yeah,
these are my clues.
He's just going down the rabbit hole.
Just down the rabbit hole, hyped up on caffeine.
Yep.
Perfect.
Yep.
Perfect.
I love.
Do you know if Ryan Reynolds did the mocap for Pikachu?
I don't know.
I'm going to say no because most actors don't seem to, but man, I want to believe that he did.
Yeah, what did I see recently where I did find out? I'm trying to think of everything we've watched recently. I don't know if this was. We'll look it up for the midstream.
Sure.
We'll look it up for the midstream. Going with you on that, on like this story. I also love that Pokemon, the anime and the game in the main series, has always been about a child leaving home. I mean, it's the symbolic journey of a child leaving home for like the first time and basically becoming an adult. It just so happens in the Pokemon world, becoming an adult has to do with training Pokemon and then doing what you will with Pokemon, whether you're a Pokemon breeder or a Pokemon trainer or battler or whatever. And this movie subtly still gave us that motif because we have Tim Goodman, who is, he believes himself to be an adult. He believes himself to have, I've turned my back on Pokemon.
Right.
That's kid stuff. I'm a grown up. I'm an insurance adjuster. But he never leaves home. He's still in his comfort zone.
Right.
And he's kind of forcefully thrust into this situation. And then he does go on that journey with a companion Pokemon and becomes a man.
Yeah.
Through this movie. And so they didn't go, it's Robin. They didn't go, call me MJ. But they still told that story. Did you need to know that?
Did not.
But I recognized it. And like, that's why this movie works for both levels.
There you go.
You know?
It's just well orchestrated.
God damn it, Detective Pikachu. Pika! You know when Pikachu is talking to the girl that he's hitting on?
She just hears Pika Pika.
She just hears Pika Pika. Right. And that's the voice actor for Pikachu in the show. They
really?
They really got her to do it.
I did read this somewhere that they did get the voice actors that traditionally voice the Pokemon to do the Pokemon.
Yes, with a couple exceptions.
Yeah,
I'm going to get there.
Yeah. Gonna get there. I've gotten to know the voice of Squirtle pretty well.
My starter.
Yeah.
I love Squirtle.
Squirtle and Bulbasaur.
Yeah, they're very similar voices.
I think it's the same
voice
person.
Actor? Yeah, then that makes a lot of sense to me.
Would you like to meet them? I think I can make that
happen. I would freaking love to.
Yeah, I think I can make that happen.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah. Can I do another rave?
Of course. Please share in the raves.
Ryan Reynolds as Pikachu is great.
Yeah.
His interaction with Psyduck.
Yeah.
Fucking priceless.
Oh my God.
Oh,
yeah.
Psyduck. So if I had a Pokemon, I think I would have a Psyduck.
Okay, because that's going to be a big question of mine later.
I would have I was really thinking about this. We were talking about it with Elise, like a hyper anxious, excitable, ready to explode at any moment.
Yep.
Pikachu, Pokemon.
Yep.
I think I'm thinking maybe a Psyduck or a War Turtle, and I'm not sure which.
Or Turtle. Yeah.
Who was also great.
You know,
he came on the scene.
This is
but man, like rubbing
controversial.
Oh, okay.
In later games, not in blue. In blue, I let it happen. Later games, I want to let my Squirtle evolve.
Oh, that's very controversial.
It's very controversial.
I have a big question.
They stay
about Pikachu.
weaker, but they learn moves faster. But I just love Squirtle so much.
You never let him evolve to War Turtle?
In my Soul Silver game, I never did.
Ooh,
yeah,
controversial.
And he was always the one in my Poke Walker with me. Even though he was like maxed out and I didn't need the levels, I just wanted to walk around with it. Yeah.
So like rubbing his whole exchange about Psyduck's power is that he his anxiety attack produces a synaptic collapse in the human brain, basically.
Different Pokemon fall into different types: water, grass, shadow, ghost. Psyduck is a psychic type.
Yeah.
However, he is the first Pokemon in an evolutionary change. So he is not that evolved or powerful. So his psychic powers are not refined, and they give him constant headaches. And if he gets too worked up, they just unleash.
Yeah.
And wreak havoc.
The Psyduck and Detective Pikachu in car seats in the back of that car, their whole interaction was just,
yep,
laugh out loud funny.
Yeah.
I loved it. It was brilliant.
That was great.
What a pairing for Ryan Reynolds.
And it was so smart, too, to put Psyduck in with Lucy.
Yes.
Because Psyduck was Misty's Pokemon in the original series.
Oh, okay.
And so Lucy was like a stand-in for Misty.
I can see that.
You know, redhead with a ponytail and a Psyduck. I mean, that's Misty. Now, they go in very different character directions.
Okay.
But the visual was there.
Gotcha.
Just like Tim and Pikachu.
Yeah.
Very different than the
Ash and Pikachu,
Pikachu,
yep.
but we got the visual.
Yep.
You know? Well, let's talk about the Pokemon, because you just brought up Psyduck. The Pokemon looked amazing.
Like,
I mean, we've done it. We've
Jurassic
hit the pinnacle.
Park level.
Thank you.
Insertion
Thank you for bringing up Jurassic Park.
Of three-dimensional characters.
Mm-hmm.
Not since Who Framed Roger Rabbit do you believe that an animated, 2D constructed character is interacting with actors on screen in a realistic way.
I said this movie absolutely delivered in terms of giving fans a real world where people lived with Pokemon.
I would say it's the new gold standard in terms of live action and animation blending with each other.
And I'm so glad you brought up Jurassic Park, because that really was a moment where we looked at like CGI and we're like, wow. And this has taken what that started to its natural next level.
Strong agree.
And it never at any point to me felt like these Pokemon were added into the world.
Right.
It always felt like they belonged there just as much
and they
as
were
the
interacting
people.
with them.
Yeah. And even like little behaviors. Like they even just like nailed like little behaviors. I mean, especially when you watch Pikachu, because he's your main Pokemon character, but like they're doing like these just little movements that animators did not need to do that.
The Psyduck's eyes.
Yeah, when they dilate all the way down. Like, you could easily just not do that.
Gloss
just
that.
Forget it. The Pokemon's off to the side.
The scales on Charizard.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
Yep, Charizard. Good job.
Yeah.
And they must have had like Pokebiologists like on set to really make sure.
Is that a real thing?
Oh yeah, in the games they are.
Okay.
And I'm sure just like there are Jedi in real life now. I'm sure there are Pokebiologists. I've been to a couple of Pokebiology panels actually.
Long-time listeners, if you could just see like the eye roll and face that Sketch just gave when he said just like there are Jedi in real life now, there are Pokebiologists.
As in like
it made for great audio, but
you can
priceless.
Follow the teachings, but you're never going to have the force.
Disdain in Sketch's face. Like just like there are Jedi right now.
Yeah.
I mean, priceless.
Yeah. You can follow the teachings of the Jedi, but you're never going to wield a lightsaber and have the Force. I'm sorry. I wish I could. Same thing with Pokemon. You can study the biology all you want. You're never going to be able to study an actual Pokemon.
Translation. Grow up, you fucking nerds.
I'm sorry, guys. It hurts me as much as it hurts you, but you got to hear it. It's tough love.
Hey, and like...
The tuba player just ran out. The tuba player just ran out in tears. I had no idea.
No idea. But I'm also the guy that like builds lightsabers in his basement in his spare time.
Do you think he's a Pokebiologist or a Jedi?
Jedi? Oh,
I never talk to them.
Yeah.
Even when we're not recording, I refuse to let them
ignore
speak.
that they're there.
Yeah. Silent at all times.
Yep. It's in their contract. How much do you pay them?
Oh, nothing. No.
So this is like a...
It's not slavery, but it's like indentured servitude.
This just took a very dark turn.
Yeah, no.
Are they like Pokemon?
No, because when they're done, I'm going to give them a small plot of land that they can farm.
But until then, they live inside of a infinite green space in which they can roam and be free?
No, it's a U-Haul.
Oh.
Yeah.
So just like a Pokeball?
Yeah. It's a U-Haul with a bucket.
Wow.
Yeah.
Dark turn.
Yeah.
Good. Very dark. Very fast.
They love it, though. They love it.
Yeah, they look like
you guys.
Professionals.
Whoa.
Professionals.
I've always thought the tears were from laughter. I'm still going to stick with that, though, because they can't tell me otherwise. They're not allowed to. Here's like a little Pokemon detail that like I'm sure you didn't pick up on, which is totally fine. But the fact that they even went there when Magikarp gets kicked around and evolves into Gyarados in the underground fight. Okay, you don't know who any of these Pokemon are.
No idea.
Magikarp is the little fish that's like flopping around.
Oh, yeah. Magikarp, the swims up the waterfall and becomes the dragon.
Bingo. So he gets kicked around.
I know my Japanese lore.
Very good.
Thank you.
And he turns into Gyarados.
Yes.
Giant
dragon.
Water dragon.
Yeah. Who fights Charizard.
He fights Charizard. Well, Charizard immediately, he's been under the effects of the gas. And he immediately cowers.
Right.
Because Gyarados' innate presence is Intimidate,
Right.
which lowers the defense of opposing Pokemon.
Right.
Did they have to add that to the movie?
Nope.
No!
But it was
But
brilliant.
they did. Someone was there to be like, hey, have this happen.
Yep.
Because someone is going to be sitting in a basement someday talking about this with their friend who has no idea what they're talking about.
Just munching on the Funyuns and Mountain Dew.
And good on them. So just the way they brought Pokemon to life, and I mean more than just visually, but like behaviorally as well. And the fact that they kept it small. I mean, there's only like 60 variety of Pokemon in this movie. And at first, when I came out of the movie, I was like, bummed there weren't more Pokemon. But then when I sat on it, I was like, no, I'm glad there weren't more, because they just focused on those 60 and just made those like as real life as humanly possible, as Pokemonally possible. Pokemonally.
It's a real word. Look it up.
Yeah, look it up, guys. Don't look it up.
Don't do it.
You've got too much to look up. Don't look up that.
You've got enough homework.
Any other raves for you?
Oh, yeah.
Good.
The chemistry between Lucy and Tim.
Yeah.
I thought they had a great story arc worthy of an adapted anime. And I like that they were new characters that I didn't, again, like it wasn't like I had to have followed their story to know who they were. They were great characters. They were introduced quickly. I got everything I needed to know about them. Lucy is a fluff reporter who, wants to do the hard-hitting facts. And she's even,
I think she's an intern. Like she's barely
even a reporter. But she's keyed into this story. She's been working with Harry. Harry's kid shows up, and they're going on this adventure together.
Yep.
And I thought they did a great job of playing off of each other.
They did.
She is pushing him to get more and more involved without actually like grabbing him and pulling him along.
Yep.
It's like kind of like the classic, like just act like you don't care. And there was a nice reversal.
It was
of like, she just keeps acting like she doesn't care, and it just pulls him in more and more and more and more and more and more.
I'm very good at being alone at night.
Yeah,
I don't think that came off the way you wanted it to.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah,
so
the fact that Tim is attracted to her at the beginning.
Yep.
And so that's kind of what invests him in her, but then that falls away. I mean, he's still there could certainly still be a future for the two of them, but you could also tell me that there is no romantic future for them, and I believe either. It was not a crux of the movie.
Yep.
Did not need. And speaking of Lucy, it's a short 2-second scene, but it had to taken so much effort to film. When she first pokes her head into the genetics lab, and then it's revealed that the camera and her are upside down, and the camera rotates with her as she flips into the lab. Completely unnecessary and completely awesome.
Right.
What cool camera work.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that was great.
And we know this movie was shot on film.
Yes.
So they actually had to set that up on a jig. And I don't know I'm wondering if it's like the last time I saw an effect like that was in Amazing Spider-Man 2. And it's the whole room flipping, and Andrew Garfield is just keeping himself stationary and the room's moving.
Yep, that's cool.
To make him look. And I'm wondering if they did that effect the same way. Otherwise, I can't imagine how they executed that shot with her moving so perfectly with the camera.
Yeah, it was so cool, and it was like
cool
flash in a pan.
Yeah.
But it like added so much.
You're right. It must have taken so long to film and been so intricate, just for a throwaway.
So we know they're all long-time listeners. So we appreciate it.
We appreciated it, guys. Thank you.
It was worth it. Was that yours or mine?
It was my rave that you piggybacked on, so it's your rave.
Okay. I'm going to talk about the danger level.
It's a high level of danger.
There's a high level of danger here. So even though the Pokemon are still cute and cuddly, they are still rightfully dangerous.
Yeah. Like, you get into the ring with a Charizard, you're gonna die.
Fire-breathing lizards and the
water pressure alone that comes out of a war turtle would break all of your bones and rip the skin from your body.
The Greninja with their throwing stars.
Greninja.
I mean, things were like rightfully terrifying.
My nephew loves Greninja.
Yeah.
I mean, just loves to talk to me about Greninja and ask me if I know what character this is. I'm like, it's Greninja. You tell me every time I see you.
Yeah.
It's adorable.
The let's see. That one came from, was that X and Y? I think
Sure.
that was X and Y that one came from. I did
that
play
sounds
X and
that sounds
Y.
right. X and Y. Didn't
Or is
play
it
that
black
one,
and
guys.
white? No, it's black and white. It's black and white. Came from Pokemon Black
I knew
and White.
it. Black and white. That's what I said. Black and white.
That was my starter that time around. I try to in all the games I've played, I've tried to change up.
Find a Pokemon and like purposefully prevent their evolution to keep them in a state of constant
not
servitude.
Always. It really for me ends up on their visual style. So like Squirtle, I always liked little, but like Turtwig, I started with Turtwig. Or maybe I have a thing for turtle Pokemon.
I mean, I totally get this because whenever I get a Grand Theft Auto game, I just immediately jump into a car and start running people over on the sidewalk.
It's the same thing. It's the same thing,
same
guys. We're speaking the same language. But I let Turtwig go all the way up to Torterra. I think Torterra is awesome looking.
What's the Torterra?
Torterra is actually the giant ass Pokemon.
The giant. I was going to ask you what those were.
Those are not. They're not that big.
I was going to call them the lion tortoise from Avatar.
Yeah. They're very, they
were too large.
They're turtles.
But they were genetically enhanced.
Yes, they were genetically enhanced.
They should have been the size of the ones that were in the little pen.
Yeah, even though I would consider them to be even a little bigger than that. I mean, I've always kind of envisioned a Torterra to be like the size of like a tank.
Okay.
You know.
Those were oversized Torterra.
They were wildly oversized.
Like destroy the earth Torterra.
Believe me, I want to talk about them.
Okay.
But not yet. Because I'm raving. But Greninja has a middle evolution, and I typically don't like the middle evolutions, but Torterra has this really cool middle evolution. Not Torterra, I'm sorry. Greninja has this really cool middle evolution, and I'm blanking on his name right now. There's 800 Pokemon to remember. Mid-Ninja. And I really liked that one.
Okay.
He started as Froakie, he ended as Greninja, and the middle one was something. I don't remember. Maybe I'll look it up for the midstream. Maybe I won't.
Miles, if you're listening, email into the show and tell us what his middle evolution is.
Same thing with Oshawott. Oshawott had...
No idea what an Oshawott is.
Oh, was Oshawott black and white?
I believe those are overalls from the 1980s.
I think Oshawott was black and white. So what's that? Does that mean Froakie was X and Y? Froakie was X and Y, guys. Sorry about that. Froakie was X and Y. I was originally right.
Fucking noob.
Oshawott had such a cool middle evolution, Daywott, and then ended up so stupid, Samurott. Ugh, did not care for that.
Lame.
So it's just funny. All my starters, I have different evolutions that I like.
Sure.
What were we talking about?
No idea.
Oh, the threat level.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Like Greninja
Ninja Stars.
them, super terrifying.
Oh, yeah.
Charizard in the pen. Really scary.
Oh, and what sold that too was like the D-bag trainer who like gave him the R. Like when Tim jumps into the ring, he's like, oh shit, this kid's gonna die,
and then knocks him over and releases all the R.
Yeah,
you know. And Mewtwo was like
Mewtwo was like on par level of like resurrected deity.
Yes.
Like was Mewtwo basically supposed to be like Jesus? Was he a metaphor for Jesus? The resurrector.
I mean, maybe
performing his miracles.
The whole thing with being able to merge Pokemon with their trainers,
turning water into raspberry lemonade, as I believe it says in the Bible.
As it does, yeah. Tropicana, yeah. As far as I know, and longtime listeners, correct me if I'm missing something. That has never been a power of Mewtwo.
Yeah, I was gonna say
merging people with their Pokemon. I think that was created for this movie, but I could be wrong. There are deity Pokemon in the universe, though, and Mewtwo isn't one of them. He is just like ultra powerful. He's kind of this. What happens when mankind dabbles with nature? Gotcha. What happens? He would be your Indominus Rex.
Ooh, yeah.
Of this universe. A lot of it going back to Jurassic
Park.
And what I loved about Mewtwo in this movie was Mewtwo has like always been the bad guy. Like he's always been the ultimate threat. And in this movie,
he's a good guy.
Again, for those of us who have grown up with Pokemon, we already had that assumption going in. Oh, Mewtwo's going to be the big bad guy at the end.
He's just trying to live his life.
And no, we find out that this is the Mewtwo that's been the bad guy in the past. But
not actually
people like
guy.
Harry have changed his mind and have made him want to protect the bond between people and humans. And
every villain's redeemable.
And then that gets manipulated.
Unless you're Beetlejuice.
Yeah. Good. I'm glad he didn't.
Yeah.
And I love that. And I love the way they depict Mewtwo, or the way they voice him, where it's two voice actors overlapped with each other.
Yep.
Oh, I just think it's so cool.
One of them was Bill Nye.
When he was controlling
So there's a
Mewtwo,
third voice.
yeah, he became a third voice controlling
Gotcha.
him. When it was just Mewtwo, it was.
Was it actually his voice actors?
It was actually one of them was what's his name? Ken Watanabe. Who's in this movie.
Watanabe.
And he's the male voice actor, and then there's a female voice actor as well. So they overlap a male and female.
Ken Watanabe's Pokemon was a
Snubble.
Yeah.
Because
he looks like a little pug.
Yeah, because throughout all Pokemon forever,
yeah,
police people have always had dog Pokemon.
Gotcha.
I love it.
Oh yeah.
Did you need to know that?
Nope.
No. But I did, and I loved it.
I have one more rave.
Okay.
The Mr. Mime.
That's my last rave too.
Oh my god.
The Mr. Mime
Holy
scene.
shit. That was priceless.
When I first saw that,
not
in the trailer,
only do they understand and appreciate this world, but like for the ages, but it's ageless humor and substance.
Yes.
And it was perfect. And that's the moment where Tim's all in.
He gets in, yeah.
All in. When he gets into the box with Mr. Mime, that's when the movie turns.
His true self, that has been repressed for all these years, it comes out. And that turn, and they put it in the trailer, which was bold of them because it's such a smart play. The informant is a Mr. Mime and can't say a word.
And it's the one Pokemon that Detective Pikachu can't commune with.
Yes.
So it all hinges on Tim.
And
he speaks his language.
It's so smart. And I love that in this movie he doesn't talk, because you'd think, obviously, but in the anime he does. He says just like all the other Pokemon, Mr. Mime.
Yeah.
And becomes Ash's surrogate dad, which is really weird.
Awkward.
Yeah, Ash's mom has a Mr. Mime, and over the years now he's like wearing shirts, and he's always out and hanging out with her. It's real weird.
That is creepy.
Yeah, it is. So the fact that this Mr. Mime is just completely silent, and he's so invested in like his craft of mime, that the whole thing with Mr. Mime is he's another psychic Pokemon, and his psychic powers actually manifest his mime. So when he's faking there's a wall in front of him, he's actually placing a psychic wall in front of him. And he's so invested in his miming that when Tim starts doing these things, he's also he can't help but psychically make
manifest
them.
It. Yeah.
What? That's awesome.
Like he could stop the illusion at any time and run away.
Absolutely. But he's so dedicated to like his craft. Like it's so in his marrow. Like he has to mime. It is a
Penn and Teller-esque level of commitment to the craft.
When Tim is pouring invisible gasoline on him,
Mr. Mime is
lighting a match.
Yeah.
Mr. Mime is making all that happen.
Right. Woo.
And
then essentially sets himself on fire.
Yes.
He died, right?
He's dead. Yes. I brought this to a firm stop. Yeah, he's dead.
Immolated himself.
Yeah, he's now gone. From a psychic, you see, now that's interesting. Because
self-immolation from a psychic fire.
Psychic attack.
It's deep.
But it's deep. As a psychic Pokemon, he has stronger defense against psychic attacks. So he might just be crippled for life, like in a hospital. That would have been a great after credit scene, just him like in bandages.
In the hospital.
With a Chansey there.
So dark.
Yeah.
So dark. Yeah. But it was perfect.
It was perfect. It was like I almost feel like that was the first scene they made, and we're like, let's craft a movie around this idea.
Yeah. 100% believe that.
Yep. Okay, I could rave for days.
I am out of raves. I could also rave for days.
It was just so fun.
Like it's a similar experience where we're talking about this movie and how fun and how good it really is. Yep. At the end of this, I might have to bump up my score a little bit. Let's see what happens.
What rants do to you
through rants.
Okay.
Yeah. Do you have how many rants do you have?
3.
3. I have.
None are major.
I also have 3 rants.
Okay, you start us off.
Okay. Mewtwo's body switching ability is contingent on the gas rage. How did they figure that out, and how do you put that plan into motion?
So this is like a ranty big question.
This is like a ranty big question of that, like, when did they establish, like, is Mewtwo is kind of made to be all powerful,
Mhm.
right? But
Mhm.
he merged Detective Pikachu and Harry
Mhm.
without the gas rage.
That was explained because you can do that with the Pokemon's consent. If the Pokemon wills it.
But when is it established that that's one of Mewtwo's powers, and why?
Oh, never.
And why did they
Only
need
in
to
this
do
movie.
if once Bill Nighy's controlling him?
Mhm.
Why was the gas contingent on that? Why, how did he figure out that only by controlling Mewtwo
Yeah.
and releasing the gas could you turn this into a Mewtwo power?
Okay.
It
There's a lot to unpack here.
wasn't well explained.
No, it wasn't.
And they don't ever establish
honestly,
that.
it's one of my rants too. So I mean, we'll double team this one here because mine was bad guy's plan was a little weak and confusing. It took the second walk for me to finally kind of understand it. And even then, I'm kind of like,
do I understand the plan? Have I explained it correctly?
Yes. So for a long time,
I only saw it once.
Who are having a hard time following this, Bill Nighy is paralyzed. He is looking for a cure to get his body back.
Cheat death, essentially. Yeah.
He discovered somehow, unclear as to how, that Mewtwo has the ability to transfer the soul, the essence of a person, into the body of a Pokemon. However, Pokemon can resist Mewtwo's ability to do this through their intellect.
Sure.
It takes them being in a frenzied, almost devolved state to be susceptible to Mewtwo to do this. Also, somehow, Mewtwo's essence has some sort of gas effect.
Right.
Again, from what I understand, and I have not seen everything, this has never been in the Pokemon lore before. So they're extracting this substance
from Mewtwo, making it a gas,
releasing it on Pokemon.
Right.
It frenzies them, and then Mewtwo can transfer humans into the bodies of the Pokemon.
It essentially makes them more feral.
Yeah.
So they don't have
they're feral Pokemon.
Consent.
Mewtwo not on board with this. So Bill Nighy has to create a mental manipulator to put himself artificially into Mewtwo.
Right.
And then
it's for my money, why didn't Bill Nighy just put himself into his Ditto and control his Ditto to make a form of himself?
That's smart.
There was I guess that's a big question, but it's directly connected to my rant.
No,
if he had the ability
right.
to transfer his essence into a Pokemon, why didn't he just
go into Ditto?
Go into Ditto and become anything he wants, like manifest himself in a healthy young body.
And his Ditto
would have consented to that because
seemed consenting.
What
a weird sentence to say.
Yeah,
what a weird sentence to say. But that Ditto was consenting.
The Ditto was 100%.
I loved that reveal when she took the glasses off.
And she was Ditto.
And she was Ditto with those eyes. For starters, real creepy.
Real creepy.
Yeah. And then immediately I was like, that makes all the fucking sense in the
world.
All
the sense. Yep.
That is so smart. This movie had no right being so smart. These twists.
Yeah.
But then Bill Nighy wasn't smart enough to do that.
Yeah. So I mean, it was a real.
He still had that storytelling, that classic old white man power of I
have all the money in the world.
Yes, and I know what's best for everybody, and I need to enforce my will on everybody.
But it really jived with the fact that he created Rhyme City, right?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, not jived. It juxtaposed.
Yes.
It seemed, why would he create that city? I guess that was also his end game, to get all of these Pokemon in one place so he could control them. But it's so convoluted,
super unclear.
It's so convoluted.
It's more confusing than it should be in this movie, because everything else was real crisp.
Yeah,
everything else was nice and fresh.
He's got this apparatus. He has a willing Pokemon.
Do that.
Why go through this other trouble?
Yep, I agree.
Okay,
I agree. And I'll just ask one of my big questions now because it's directly related. Even if he's going to go through this whole shtick here, why not then the first thing you do is you use Mewtwo to merge your body with Mewtwo.
Right.
Because the only way Tim and Pikachu won was they took
They
the
knocked
device
the
off
headgear off of it, yeah.
Bill Nighy. As soon as they merge him, as soon as he is
Done.
permanently fused with Mewtwo,
Yep.
there is literally no stopping him.
Yeah. They've got to kill Mewtwo.
Yeah. That was dumb.
Yeah.
He should have done that.
Yeah.
According to his own plan.
Correct.
Should have done that.
Yeah.
He would have won.
He would have won.
Yeah.
End of story.
Lucy's
trapped in a Psyduck forever.
Forever. Tim wasn't fused, though.
That's because Harry was already
Spoiler
fused.
alerts.
Spoiler alerts.
Harry was
already fused with Pikachu.
In Pikachu.
So he couldn't merge. They couldn't merge. Did you catch that? Like at that point, why Tim didn't merge with Pikachu?
No,
did that become apparent to you? It didn't become apparent to me either.
When did I first suspect that Harry was the one in Pikachu? I don't know, but by that point during the battle, I was already under the impression that Harry was the one.
Harry was in. Yeah.
I don't remember exactly what scene it was that made me go, "Oh, wait a minute."
Yeah.
I think Harry's the one in there.
It was. I don't remember what the giveaway was, but when he walks away, he's walking along the road,
singing the Pokemon
theme song, and there's something in there that gave me the tell. I was like, "Oh shit, he is Harry."
Yeah.
Oh, I remember.
I remember what it was for me. It was when we had one of the, whether it was the holographic or the Mewtwo or whatever, somebody was showing what had happened the night of the car crash, and Harry crawls out of the car, and they were very careful not to show his face. And I was like, it's Ryan Reynolds. Yeah, Ryan Reynolds is his dad.
That's what it was. You're right.
Ryan Reynolds is Pikachu. I got it.
I only saw it once.
Yeah,
Those
that's
things
fine.
happen far apart. Yeah, they show Pikachu by the crash, and they show Harry crawl out of the car.
Of it, but they're very, very careful to not show any features of Harry.
And I was like, oh.
And I was like, gotcha.
Yeah.
I got this.
Pikachu's his dad.
Yep.
I don't know if I went directly to like, oh, his dad's inside of Pikachu. I was going more like, oh, like his dad turned into a Pikachu or something.
Sure. Something like that. But I saw that reveal coming at that point.
Yeah. Because they never show the dad's face.
Nope. They're very careful about them. Yeah. Is it my rant? I kind of we kind of took
doubled
over
up on that rant there.
So you go, because
sure.
You go.
Bill Nighy is unbelievable as both hero or villain, and he never really seems to believe that he's the culprit. Like you never either way that he built this city or that he's behind this plan. I believe that Bill Nighy is a great actor too. So it was kind of. I don't know what happened, but I just didn't connect or believe that he was the villain or the hero of the story.
I believed that Bill Nighy thought himself to be the hero.
Yeah. But he takes Tim aside at one point and like tries to put it on his son, and like he's so obviously the villain. And then when they relieve his villainous plans, like, oh man, I liked this better when the setup was his son.
The big surprise for me was that his son was not involved.
Yeah.
I thought it was. I thought it was. Yeah,
well, he was always wearing the sunglasses when it was the Ditto playing his son.
So when we revealed that the real son was not involved,
locked in a closet,
then I was like, oh, okay,
trapped
so
in the closet.
He's still a good guy.
Oh, you're not allowed to make R. Kelly references anymore. I apologize, guys.
I don't think you were ever allowed to.
I don't think you were ever allowed to.
No.
Yeah.
I take it back. In the band.
Well, whoa, oh,
yeah.
Really?
He keeps sneaking in.
Poor judgment on your part. Man.
I didn't invite him.
Fire him.
He just keeps sneaking in.
Okay, let's let this go.
And everyone's so quiet.
Let's let this one go.
Oh, I love it though. Is it my rant?
It's your rant.
Okay, the Torterra scene, because I wanted to get to him. I really liked that. This is the land.
Torterra, yeah.
The landslide. I really liked the landslide. I liked how like the land was tipsy turvy and they were like navigating through it.
Can we call it something else? The band is dangerously close to breaking out into a Mr. Mime version of Landslide. Fleetwood Mac.
Fleetwood Mac, yeah.
Dangerously close.
So the Torterra scene, I thought it was a really cool set piece.
Yeah,
it was a great time for Lucy and Tim to like human action,
right?
But then the reveal that they are so fucking big
and so many of them.
I was like,
I mean, conservatively, that was like a continent of Torterras.
Yeah. This is like Earth altering.
Yeah,
so
like a quarter of planet Earth was a Torterra.
I have
and destroyed the magnetic whole of the Earth's field, right?
A light pitch piece that
Sure.
could just fix the whole fucking thing, right?
I would love to hear it.
Okay. Their perceived size of being so huge is all in Lucy and Tim's head, and it's just a result of the confusion from Psyduck wearing off.
Perfect.
Okay. So
Perfect.
real Torterra are causing the
Right.
actual tectonic movement, but they're like slightly larger than normal. They're not like
Right.
the size of Minnesota.
Right.
Okay. And like you see that like they're rubbing their temples and the confusion wears
Right.
off their face because that Psyduck attack would affect every
Everything.
intellectual creature.
I mean, it would affect the Torterra also, right?
Yeah.
Sure.
Which I mean is the idea that they got all riled up from that attack. And like, there you go.
Psyduck.
Simple fix. It's just they perceive them to be so big.
Yeah.
They're really much
That's
smaller.
perfect.
Yeah. Give me that 5-second scene of them.
Like,
and
wow, this is
I absolve this rant if I get that.
Yeah.
But they didn't. So I can't.
Yeah.
It's the rules. I don't make the rules. We kind of make the rules.
We kind of make the rules.
But once we make them, we got to follow them.
We got to follow them.
Well, they aren't rules.
Right. And then it turns into a rant.
Yep. So there you go.
And nobody wants
That's
that.
my Torterra pitch to fix it. Also kind of like give Psyduck like a little more danger that like, oh, he's also affecting the people too. Because he would.
I have one last rant.
Okay. You know what's interesting? Psyduck evolves into Golduck.
Yes.
And Golduck is blue, but Psyduck is gold. And Golduck is more psychically inept. It's almost like, I mean, not inept.
Powerful.
Powerful. So it's almost like their names were accidentally flipped.
Accidentally flipped. Yeah.
But we go with it.
Sure.
Yep.
Like a translation error.
It could have been.
Sure. Detective Pikachu is Tim's dad.
Yep.
What the fuck? It doesn't fit the rules of the world we just established.
Mhm.
Big rant.
It does break all the rules.
It breaks all the rules that the movie set up.
And we're a stickler for the rules.
We are.
Mhm.
And a rant is anything that takes you out of the world. And when you don't have to establish a rule. I mean, nobody, when you were writing your script and doing your world building, nobody says like, you have to do this.
Yeah.
And if you set on something that works in the script later,
Mhm.
change it.
Okay.
Like go back and fix it.
Yeah.
But if you leave that thing and you
Mhm.
leave it established, and then if you break it later, it's kind of like a major flaw in the storytelling. And I really can't forgive those things anymore because I consume so much of this stuff. I really want it to be worthy of the time that I invest in it. And that's such a big component. Particularly because we focus more on world building now than almost any other aspect of a story, whether it's a book or an audiobook or a video game or a movie or a TV show. When the rules of the world that you've just built
Mhm.
collapse before the end of the story.
Yeah.
I gotta dock you for it.
This was a classic example of backwards design. It was obviously we need Ryan Reynolds' voice in Pikachu. How do we get it there? Let's just take the best thing we come up
Sure.
with. Would have made far more sense if Pikachu was genetically modified as part of that lab.
Sure. Or how about this is like you can explain it away by this is like Tim is the victim of a Psyduck attack very early,
Mhm.
and this is like Pikachu's just saying Pika Pika Pikachu,
Mhm.
but Tim's hearing the voice of his dad,
Mhm. Mhm.
and because he like got walloped by
Mhm.
the Psyduck meltdown early on.
And there have been people, because there have been people other than us who have talked about this movie at
Yeah.
great length, who have argued that Tim is actually just hearing Pika Pika Pika, but
And
his
he's-
mind, his
Is
mind through
interpreting.
trauma is interpreting
Yeah.
it, which is why no one else can
Right.
understand.
I believe that.
Yeah.
I think that works better in the rules that they've
Mhm.
established.
Mhm.
Like, oh, how about at the end of the oh man. I mean, I get that they want to do a happy ending, but
Mhm.
like at the end of the movie, like they stop the plan, everybody gets separated from their Pikachu and Pikachu just Pika Pika.
Pika Pika.
And like, oh, your dad is actually dead.
Give Tim some closure for him to actually
Yeah.
say goodbye to his dad,
Yep.
or apologize for not moving in.
Yep.
The thing I like about the Tim and Harry relationship is it's incredibly believable. Both of them made mistakes, and no one's really the
Right.
bad guy.
Yeah.
They both suffer tragedy. Harry
Victim of
obviously,
circumstance. Didn't handle it well.
yeah, like Harry obviously didn't handle it well. He obviously like launched into his work, but he was still like trying to get Tim
Yeah.
to come to him. He set up the room, like he did everything
Yeah.
to like
Kind of creepy.
Yeah, like he was like reaching across the aisle to Tim, please.
Right.
And Tim also suffered through tragedy, saw his dad leave at a time where
he needed him.
He needed him. Like, they both didn't handle it well, but it was also
Nobody's
totally
fault.
It was like understandable. It's fine.
Yeah.
So, at the end, give Tim that.
Sure.
But I get it because you still got kids. That would be a tough pill for a lot of kids to swallow.
Oh yeah.
But I agree with you. It got too rule breaking, I think is the right way to put it. They established rules and they
break them.
Decided to.
And it was really the only instance in the movie in which that happened.
Mm-hmm.
I almost would have forgiven it more if they were like breaking rules all over the place.
Sure. Yeah, either break them everywhere or don't break them at all. Don't pick one instance.
I mean, we're going to talk about one of those.
Yeah.
In an upcoming episode where they break the rules all over the place.
Guys, we'll get there.
We'll get there.
Do
you have any more rants?
My last rant is minor, but it's so big to me.
Okay.
Bulbasaur's voice.
Not the voice actor for Bulbasaur?
It was cute, and it was like,
ooh, ooh, ooh. Oh, yeah.
They're like little chirpy things, but
no.
Bulbasaur's too iconic. He is, Baba, Baba. I needed my Bulbas, but I didn't. I got like little onion noises.
It was almost like what movie did that similarly with like rock trolls?
Didn't see it.
With was it Brave where they go to see like the trolls?
Oh, that was in
was
Frozen? That's Frozen.
It felt like that.
Yeah.
We're like, are the Bulbasaurs healing Pokemon?
Bulbasaurs are not healing Pokemon. As a matter of fact, when they evolve, they turn into grass slash poison. So they're like the opposite of healing Pokemon. I think it was just that they were so in tune with nature. Those were wild Bulbasaurs.
Yeah.
They weren't companions. And
is Mewtwo a healing Pokemon?
No, he's not. I mean, he is psychic through and through.
So I just don't understand what happened in that whole like.
Right.
Basically, they turn Bulbasaur into like some kind of risen savior who's like healing people,
they turned Bulbasaur
merging
almost
people,
into like
Wood Fairy.
Yeah, or like a religious order following their messiah,
right?
Yeah. And listen, you had to put Bulbasaur in the movie. You had Squirtle, you had Charmander. It'd been a huge sin to not put Bulbasaur in the movie. Give me the voice though,
because he's like one of the original.
He's one of the original starters.
Yeah.
But you gotta deliver on that voice. Charmander never spoke in the movie, and Squirtle did very briefly when we saw the little tease at the Squirtle Squad fighting the fire.
Yeah,
which I loved.
That was great.
And Squirtle was true. He was still Squirtle,
which is interesting because I believe they're the same voice actor.
Well,
Bulbasaur
the
and
voice
Squirtle
is so similar that it would be hard for me to believe that it was two separate people. But I could be wrong. Yeah. I guess that brings us to big questions. Big questions.
I
already asked one of them, and I only have one other.
I already asked one of them. Also, I guess I will just. I have two big questions that I'll ask. How did Tim not recognize the voice of his father?
It's a fair question.
I mean, do you have an answer for that?
I don't have a good answer. The only answer I'll say is that kind of what I said previously a little bit, in that like he's really hearing the Pika Pikas,
right?
And we're hearing the voice of Ryan Reynolds, but he's more just like understanding the Pika Pikas because of whatever mental thing he's going through. And like Ryan Reynolds' voice is just our avenue as the audience to understand.
So your answer is that he's not hearing Ryan Reynolds' voice. He's just hearing a random voice that's not his dad's. And we're hearing Ryan Reynolds' voice. Ryan Reynolds. I don't know if I agree with that.
I'm not saying it's a good answer. It's just like the best thing I can come up with. Because his dad left when he was like 11, and that he should remember his.
That's what I mean. Like my grandfather, my pop's been dead for 22 years. I remember what his voice sounds like. If I like heard his disembodied voice coming out of like a dog, I'd be like,
"Whoa!" If you can't picture it in your head, Pop. If you heard it again, you'd go, "Oh,
yeah." You know what I mean? Like,
I agree. So I say the best answer, which is the good answer, is that
he's hearing a different voice.
He's hearing a different voice. He's just understanding the Pika Pikas, and we the audience.
Maybe he's hearing the words in Pikachu's Pika Pika voice.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll take it. Because I don't like it, but I'll take it.
He never acts like, he's surprised he can understand him,
Right.
but he's never like, you don't even sound like a Pikachu. Like,
Right.
you are obviously not a Pikachu.
Interesting. Gotcha.
He's on board at least with that part.
Oh man, like I want to hear Ryan Reynolds' lines now read in the Pikachu voice.
I love that
Holy shit.
they got Ryan Reynolds to do a single Pika Pika.
Right.
Pika Pika.
Yeah.
I did like that. I also like that he couldn't use his powers like for the whole movie.
Yeah.
That was great.
Until Tim started telling him what to do.
Yeah. Tim became his trainer.
Yeah.
You know, it was that journey that
Yeah.
is so core to a Pokemon story.
Right.
Just told in a completely different way.
Tim says I should do this. I'll do
Yeah.
that. And then
Yeah.
his powers worked.
Yep. And he said, no, I'm going to use Volt Tackle. No, don't use Volt Tackle.
Yeah.
You'll knock yourself out or whatever.
Right.
Like Tim knew this.
Yeah.
Tim knew from his childhood. He didn't forget that stuff. Yeah.
What do you got?
And when Pikachu finally did attack,
Sketch is going now. Like these full down the rabbit hole.
those attacks looked awesome.
Oh yeah. Yep.
That is Pikachu.
Yeah.
They got it.
It looks like it's gonna hurt if it hits you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
They nailed the Pikachu. And he only knows 4 moves.
Right.
Which is great because in the games,
You only
any
have 4
Pokemon
moves.
can only ever use 4 moves.
Yeah.
You have to forget old moves to love it. Anyway, my other big question, because my other one was about the bad guy's plan. Just you and I just try to figure out exactly what the timeline is here for Harry.
Oh,
Okay.
cool. Yeah.
Because
My last big question is also a timeline big question.
Harry, it's established that Harry was the one that tracked down the Mewtwo that escaped from Kanto.
Correct.
But Harry is also investigating the R.
Yes.
The R can only appear after Mewtwo's been captured.
Correct.
And then he has to befriend Mewtwo
Correct.
to help him escape.
Yes.
So, if I'm correct, so I guess my question is, am I correct? Am I correct in assuming this or putting this together? Bill Nighy's organization, the very first thing in this story is the organization approaches Harry to track down Mewtwo. Harry is like a good enough investigator that he can
I think the
find
very
Mewtwo.
first thing in the story is that Bill Nighy's company creates Mewtwo.
Yeah, okay, so you think he's part of Team Rocket.
Yes.
Because Team Rocket
And that's
was
why it's called R.
Yeah, I thought so too. And that happened 20 years ago.
Right.
And so they hire
I thought that's
Harry.
what the R was.
Yeah, as soon as I saw the R,
representing
I was
for it
like,
was Team Rocket.
Rocket.
Hey guys, I know who Team Rocket is.
Meow, that's right.
Blasting off into something.
Looks like Team Rocket's blasting off again.
Right. Bing. Yeah, I think the first thing that happens
we should have started
is-
this episode. Prepare for trouble.
and make it double.
And then there's more, but I'd have to look it up.
Yeah, me too.
Meow, that's right. Wobbuffet. That's how
boy.
it goes.
Oh, Wobbuffet.
Bringing it back to the timeline. So Harry tracks down Mewtwo. He brings Mewtwo to the company, and then my guess is he walks away. He doesn't know what they need Mewtwo for or anything. He
Harry.
goes back to Harry.
Yeah.
He goes back to his detective work. R hits the streets.
Yeah.
He starts investigating R.
R.
It happens to bring him back to the lab.
Yeah, realizes his error.
Figures out what they're doing. Lets Mewtwo go.
Lets Mewtwo go.
Yeah.
Yep.
And on his way out, the lab attacks him with the Greninja.
Yeah.
And then the movie starts. Okay.
I would agree. Yeah, I think Harry was involved in the initial
capture. Because
capture of
the
Mewtwo.
way they kind of presented that was like, ooh, is Harry a bad guy?
Right.
But he was never aware because none of this was going on yet. None of the gas and everything.
I think the gas was developed, but I think he helped. I think the gas was developed at the same time they created Mewtwo 20 years ago.
I wish.
And they only had small amounts of it left. And after Harry recaptured Mewtwo and got onto the R, realized he had perpetuated a crime against Mewtwo.
And all Pokemon.
And then crafted a plan to break him out.
Okay. A simple fix for me with this whole gas thing is if the gas was unrelated to Mewtwo and it was just like from a Haunter or a Gengar or something.
Agree.
Those are ghost type Pokemon that can alter minds. Like,
yeah.
That would be such a simple fix because I would completely just, okay. Yeah.
It absolves, yeah.
The gas comes from them. Got it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Much simpler.
Yep.
Was that a acceptable answer?
Yeah, it's an acceptable answer. We worked through it together.
I got one last big
showed our
question
work.
here.
Mhm.
It's teamwork.
Teamwork.
That's what makes the show so gold.
Mhm.
Magical.
We're like Team Rocket.
Blasting off again. Okay, I've got one last big question.
Okay.
It's about the end of the movie.
Mhm.
I'm confused.
Okay.
Did they time travel at the end of the movie to the past?
No.
Or is it like a do-over? Because it's basically the scene that they explained of when he left to go live with the grandmother.
I don't think Tim had ever been in Rhyme City before.
Okay.
I think the last time we saw this scene play
Unfold
out was Harry leaving.
Gotcha.
I think the name of the town was Leaving Town, actually. If you looked at the train stuff.
Yes.
Pokemon loves to do that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So I think it was just it was
a play on their first
it was a
party.
play. Yeah, it was thematically back to the beginning.
So I'm going to ask this question, the follow-up question.
Mhm.
Why weren't Lucy and Psyduck there?
She's a big time reporter now.
Okay.
It's
I
not a good
accept your
answer.
answers,
It's not a
and
good answer.
I think that was a missed opportunity then to
for her
give
to say
those
goodbye.
characters closure,
Mhm.
because I don't see an easy story-wise situation to bring those two back together.
No, I think
I needed some closure between those two characters.
I think you're right. It would have been great to have Lucy there at the train station, but I think the director, the writer, whoever really wanted it to be Tim is staying for his father.
Yeah.
They didn't want any wiggle room to be like, oh, he's staying to be with the girl.
Right.
Because ultimately that's not what this movie is
That's
about.
not what the movie is about. No.
Did need another scene with Lucy.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I like to think those two crazy kids made it work out.
Yeah.
At the end.
Me too.
Yeah. I mean,
Just Pikachu and Psyduck kicking it.
were you aware? This is not a big
I
question.
would love for the sequel to be like a buddy comedy between Psyduck and Pikachu. Like, holy
Sure.
shit.
I'm on board. Did you know there was a petition before it was revealed that Ryan Reynolds to be the voice? Do you know who the internet really wanted to be the voice?
Of Pikachu?
Mhm.
I have no idea.
Danny DeVito.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
That petition gained a lot of traction.
Wow.
Sequel.
Oh, wow.
Sequel.
Yeah. That would have been awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
Danny DeVito as the voice of Detective. Holy shit.
I-
A very different movie.
Very different.
Very different movie.
Very different. But hilarious.
Wow.
But hilarious. Okay, I got one final big question. For
Okay.
you. Who's your Pokemon? But
Who
have
is
you
my
already answered
Pokemon?
it? Is it Psyduck?
I mean, in this universe, I think like the live action universe, like of all the Pokemon I saw, I think the most fun I had
Mhm.
was with Psyduck.
Okay.
I could I think a Greninja might be, but I didn't
Greninjas are
I didn't
awesome.
like them in this movie.
Well,
is
yeah,
my
because
thing.
they've been genetically modified to be more aggressive.
Yeah, I did not
They're
like
typically
the
like,
Greninja.
silent and
But
That's
as my nephew Miles often tells me about Greninja, I feel like I would, I feel like I could have a Greninja.
Okay.
Or maybe a War Turtle.
yeah, Wartortle.
Um,
Can I introduce you to a Pokemon?
oh, please.
I think this is your Pokemon.
You think this is my Pokemon? I mean, I have such a limited knowledge of Pokemon.
this is
Holy shit, that's my Pokemon!
this is Krokorok.
Oh my
And,
god!
He
He
has
looks like he's wearing shades.
It looks like he's wearing shades. Because he's like a desert alligator, so he has like the dark
Ooh,
around his
yeah.
eyes, but they
Look-
look like sunglasses.
Like a little bandit.
And it looks like he's got just a big chip on his shoulder, and just waiting to tell someone why they're
Oh
wrong.
my god! This is my. I mean, I didn't know this Pokemon
Yes, of
exists
course, of
until
course.
you just showed him to
Well,
me.
before we recorded, I did a little research myself. I was like,
Thank you.
I need to find the perfect Pokemon partner for
I
Shades.
would love to partner with this Pokemon. Longtime listeners,
go.
write into the show and tell us who your Pokemon partner would be.
Yeah, and if you disagree,
And if you disagree,
assign us some Pokemon.
yeah. But I am 100% on board with palling around with Krokorok. He
Nice.
does look like he's got a chip on his shoulder
does.
and ready to tell you
Yep. He's
why you're
listening.
wrong.
And I'll post this
He was
one on
listen-
Facebook.
he was listening
He's listening
to
to
me.
somebody.
He's
and
listening to
ready,
me.
Yeah.
talking about who my Pokemon would be,
Yep.
and he's like,
He's
no,
about to prove you wrong.
Croc-a-rock.
He's letting you finish,
Croc.
but then he's gonna
Rock.
just go croc, and you're gonna go. That's a good point.
That's a good point, man.
Yep. So that's my last thing.
Well, hey, there you go, Sketch. And Squirtle, or have you moved on?
I think I've moved on.
Who have you moved on to?
I love Umbreon.
I have no idea who that is.
Are you familiar with Eevee?
No.
Okay, Eevee is a Pokemon from that first gen, and it is the evolution Pokemon. Eevee, unlike other Pokemon, can go into multiple different directions based on different conditions in its life.
Your Pokemon is Menagerie.
Kind of, but the thing is, once an Eevee evolves, there's no going back.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Gotcha.
So if you give Eevee a Firestone, it turns into a Flareon, which happens in this movie. Bill Nighy evolves an Eevee right in front of Tim, just as he's walking into his office, and it turns into a Flareon. You could evolve into a Jolteon, a Vaporeon, all different types.
Gotcha.
An Umbreon is an Eevee who forms a close connection and friendship with their trainer during night hours. And it evolves into a dark type Pokemon named Umbreon.
Ooh.
Jet black.
Cool.
It has these yellow circles patterns on its fur.
No idea.
It's like the size of a dog.
Oh, okay.
It's such a cool Pokemon. And in Pokemon now, there are these things called shinies, which are color variations.
Okay.
And they're very rare. And a shiny Umbreon is still jet black, but instead of yellow circles, it has blue triangles or blue diamonds. And
gotcha. That's your Pokemon.
That's my Pokemon. Yeah. Umbreon.
Cool.
Umbreon is my Pokemon. Yeah.
Well,
I have a pitch, please. Very fast pitch,
okay.
please.
Pitch, please. Here we go.
Just because I know everyone's listening who worked on this movie, and I haven't flushed it out. I haven't done anything. I just want you to please make a Halloween-themed Pokemon movie in this universe, because there's so many like creepy ghost Pokemon, and you could totally gear it towards kids too, because they're still so creepy.
Ghostbuster Pikachu.
Yeah, and you did it like so good in this movie, like bringing everybody in. Please, I know you're all listening.
Yeah.
A Halloween-themed Pokemon movie set in this universe.
Hey, Sketch, just in. Halloween-themed Pokemon movie.
We did it, guys.
We did it.
We did it.
Good job.
Woo! Looks like they're but I guess finally that brings us to
Shades and Sketch recommendations. Sketch, what do you recommend?
I am recommending for this episode a Netflix series that I watched recently called Blown Away. It is very much just like that. It is very much...
I was making finger guns. It was great audio.
It actually was great audio this time. It is very much in the vein of like these, like baking competition shows where you have like a team of bakers or like a bunch of individual bakers and they're given tasks. They're slowly eliminated over time.
Cool.
But this is not bakers. This is glass artists.
Oh.
So it has the same kind of like flow and motif of these baking shows, but it's glass artists blowing glass.
Cool.
Giving like a commission and then seeing what they can do in a limited amount of time with glass. I think it's such a good idea to bring art into that like venue.
You've had a thing for like
I love glass art.
It's glass art for a long
truly
time.
The art form I really want to try, and I just haven't yet.
I imagine there's like a big learning curve and investment.
And it's very like you have to go somewhere to do it. It's not something you just pick up.
When we were in Spain, we went to Gibraltar and we went to this like built into the wall. The old fort at Gibraltar is like a glass blowing studio,
cool.
And it was in every sense a show.
Yeah,
just the artistry and craft that went into it. I was so impressed.
Every time I'm in Vermont, I go to Simon Pierce, watch the glass blowers there. I love watching glass blowing. I really want to go to Venice so I can go to the glass blowing there. But in the meantime, Blown Away on Netflix. It's a competition type show. If you watch these kind of reality show-esque competitions, the formula feels very familiar to you. But
there was a show on that was about making knives.
Yeah,
cutting
Forged in Fire.
There we go. I never watched it, but I feel like that would have been my reality show.
I've seen it from time to time, and I like that because it's taking that formula that works. Yeah. It definitely works, and I have no problem with the cooking.
So I was going to say, like same formula as like a Forged in Fire,
but it's nice to see creators.
Yeah,
getting the
Very cool.
Shades in front of the camera.
I'll check it out.
So Blown Away.
Cool.
On Netflix.
I'm going to go in a completely opposite direction, and I'm going to formally recommend the Doom Patrol on the DCEU or DC Universe streaming service. The whole season is finished now. It was just simply brilliant. What a cast. Brendan Fraser as Robot Man. Just fantastic. The whole cast, but just wow, what a show. Alan Tudyk as Mr. Nobody is just perfect.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh, Alan Tudyk. Wow. And he's like a fourth wall breaking.
Oh, nice.
Just wonky villain who just tickles my funny bone in all the right ways.
That one is definitely on my list.
So good.
Maybe I'll bump it up
So very good. And I just finished it, really enjoyed it. And if you are inclined to give the DC Universe a try, it's a great show.
Off the top of your head, do you remember how many episodes it was?
14.
Okay.
And not a long 14 either. I mean, each episode ended and I was like, oh God, I must be getting towards the end, and just pleasantly surprised that I still had 5 episodes left, 4 episodes, 3. I was like, I got to episode 12 and I was like, oh shit, this is the last episode. Like, oh, there's 14 episodes because the first season of Titans was only 8.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, 8 episodes. Damn. Nice. I thought I had, I thought I had 4 more of Titans, and sugar.
Right.
So I was like very pleasantly surprised when this had a few extra episodes.
All right. I'm definitely going to check it out.
It's well worth it. I think you'll enjoy it.
Yeah. Good.
And
Blown Away and Doom Patrol. Right in the same pocket.
Right in the pocket. Yeah, sure. Basically the same thing. If you are a fan of the show, we would love
is it time for us to go blasting off again?
It is, yeah. We would love for you to write in. You can do that at gowithshadesansketch@gmail.com.
Yes, I really, for those of you out there who are like into the Pokemon world, like, honestly, assign us Pokemon.
Please.
I say Krokorok for Shades and Umbreon for me, but I mean, Umbreon for me is really just that's my favorite Pokemon.
Sure, but tell us which Pokemon we remind you of or think we should be partnered with.
Absolutely.
But I'm on board with Krokorok.
Yeah, I think you'd like him.
Does he play guitar?
You could teach him.
I will get on that.
Okay, good. You can also find us on Facebook. Just search Geeking Out with Shades and Sketch on Facebook.
And I will just say there in the last 6 months there are a plethora of shows that have put Geeking Out in their title. So just take an extra second and make sure, making sure that you're.
To my knowledge, we're still the only show with Shades and Sketch.
Yes, we are. Yeah. But the actual name of our show is just Geeking Out if you search for it.
Yeah. With Shades and Sketch. Just add that.
You don't have to when you search for it. But there are other shows. Pick the one that's with Shades and Sketch. It's getting very convoluted.
Yeah.
You can also tweet us at Go with Shades and Sketch.
You can tweet Shades individually at Go for Shades.
And you can tweet Sketch individually at Go for Sketch.
Yeah. And you can check out our Patreon.
Please. And thank you so much to our patrons who are helping us keep the lights on in the GoCo. We can't do it without you. You can find that at patreon.com/shadesandsketch. And we've got all kinds of exclusive content for you there.
Awesome.
And
we're all over the place.
We are. We're on Stitcher, we're on Anchor, we're on Player FM, we're all over the place.
Shades, is there anything you want to take with you from Detective Pikachu?
I mean, besides this just overwhelming sense of appreciation and joy.
Yeah, welcome to the franchise.
I'm gonna take this Sherlock Holmes Pikachu cap.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
It's a good one.
It says Harry Goodman on the inside.
It does.
I like that Harry still labels his cap.
I know, right?
Yeah, good on him. I am adding another member of the menagerie.
Oh boy, here we go.
I am taking a Pokeball with, surprise, an Eevee.
Hey, there you go.
And I'm just going to hang out with them at night. And eventually, we'll get an Umbreon. Long-time listeners, I'll keep you posted. Eventually, Eevee will be Umbreon. But in the meantime, totally happy with Eevee. Because I think Eevee's cool, too.
Cool.
Really adorable.
All right.
My little dog, because you don't really know what Eevee looks like. My little dog, River.
Kind of looks like an Eevee?
Kind of really looks like an Eevee.
Interesting.
Like, very much.
Oh, River.
Wasn't meant to be that way. Just
worked out.
Awesomely.
Cool.
Yeah. And
with that,
guys, play us out. Perfect. They're nailing it. They're nailing it. Guys,
We'll see you next time.